Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to
You Didn't Know?
with Tony Reavis.
What up, everybody? If you don't know, I am Tony Reavis, and welcome back to Oh, You Didn't Know with Tony Reavis. That's me. Welcome back, people. Episode 4? We're here. We're doing it. Man, I'm excited. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning back in. Checking this out on youtube.com/iamTonyReavis. Checking this out at soundcloud.com/OYDK Podcast. Or checking us out on iTunes. Thank you, people. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to all those platforms, review and rate, leave 5 stars, all that good stuff, and share with your friends so more people are here with us. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm so excited to be back for episode 4, the 4th week. This is fantastic. Hope everyone had an awesome week. Hope everyone's doing all right. I'm doing okay. You know, I can't complain too much. NFL's back. Talked about that last week. Seahawks had a rough opener. I think the refs took some points off the board for us, but you know, that's just between you and me. But I'm just glad it's back. Fantasy football didn't go well either. In my league, I lost my fantasy football. I lost the week, but I had the second highest point total in the league, meaning I would have beat everyone else except the person I played. And that's how fantasy go. It's rough. It's a rough biz, but you accept it when you join the ranks. You know that those things can happen. So not a good start to the NFL season for me. Some of the games were just booty on Sunday. The offense, there's no offense. That Thursday night game was awesome, but not awesome because the Chiefs quarterback went off and I didn't play him on my fantasy team. So even that was bad for me, but it was fun to watch. Glad NFL's back. And yeah, I'm still hanging on with the Mariners. They're still hanging in there. Season's not over yet, but it's not looking good, but I'm not giving up on them. But it's good to have football back as well. At least my college team's doing good. Huskies, that's good. But how are you guys doing? Thanks for coming back. You know, I get so excited to do this every week. It's such a fun part of my week to get here and talk to you guys. I don't know who's listening, but if you are, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for being in this community. I'm excited. I got a special guest today, a guest that you're going to hear quite often, actually. This is going to be a new thing I'm doing. Every once in a while, I'm going to bring on my roommate, Karina. She's going to come on the podcast, and we're just going to, chop it up. Shoot the S, as they say. I'm going to call it the Roommate Files. We're just going to sit and talk. It's not going to be much of an interview when I do these episodes, just kind of us talking about stuff, talking about being roommates, talking about, life, and see where the conversation goes. So she'll be on this week. So stay tuned for that. It's a fun conversation. But yeah, I don't know what's really on my mind this week. It's been kind of a busy week for me trying to stay on schedule. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I'm loving it. Check out all my gaming videos if you haven't seen them. I had some good ones come out with the MLB and the Crash Bandicoot. My last episode 5 of Crash Bandicoot made me laugh while I was editing it, so that's how I know it's going to be good, because I was laughing while I was working on it. And so if you like video games, if you like to see people play video games and get angry, oh yeah, that's for you. Go to my YouTube channel and check that out. What's going on the rest of the week for me? I got to go to work later. That's always fun. I take a lot of Ubers. I don't have a car, which sucks, but it's actually not that bad. But I do take a lot of Ubers or Lyfts, whatever I do. I check both apps, see what the cheaper price is, and I pick. But I take a lot of Ubers and Lyfts, and apparently Uber is going to start doing driverless Ubers. What? I am not getting in a driverless car. Like if I am like rich one day and like it's a good technology and I go buy my own driverless car that I trust, sure. But I'm not going to trust Uber's driverless cars. How do I know that Uber doesn't have this like sick plot to eliminate us and do it by driverless cars that just drive off cliffs. There's nothing I can do about it. If they just like lock me in the car, I'm just in my own coffin. Forget that. What the heck? Uber, what are you doing? Uber, instead of focusing on driverless cars, why don't you focus on making your Uber pools more efficient? Because I can't tell you how many times I've been in an Uber pool. That's where you can pick up other people along your way and it's cheaper. I've been in an Uber pool going from point A to point B. I get picked up at point A, start heading towards point B. Someone gets added to my Uber pool who's back behind point A. So now I'm going backwards. The point is for me to pick up someone along the way to point B. And you mess it all up. So fix that before we go into driverless Ubers. Give me a break. You know what? Even better. Before we work on driverless Ubers, why don't we go with silent drivers first? The talkingless Uber drivers before the non-existent Uber drivers. Because I cannot tell you how many times I have the most annoying Uber drivers who just won't shut their mouth, or they say something racist, or they say something offensive. Like, what are you doing? You know, and I used to put my headphones in, but then I'm like, that's just too rude. So I kind of just sit there and it's ridiculous. Some of these Uber drivers just like, shut your face and get me home. I'm trying to go home from work and have some dinner. I'm not trying to hear your policy on immigration. Relax. Relax. And what is the deal with these Uber drivers like asking me for directions? Like, just do what the GPS is saying. I was going to the airport when I went home to Seattle a few weeks ago, and it's like 3 a.m. I'm tired. I slept for like an hour and a half, and I'm in the Uber going to the airport, and he's like, oh, which way do you want me to go? Which way do you want me to go? Do what the phone says. I'm like, just follow the GPS. He's like, oh, I just don't know if you want me to take a different route or whatever. I'm like, no, you're right. I'm not in a hurry. I want to take the longest possible route. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Who in their right mind would ever want to go any other way except the fastest way possible? Why are you asking me this? Are you out of your mind? Just get me to the airport. Shut your face. Turn up the radio to a station that I like, please, and get me to my destination as quick as possible. It's not so hard. It's really not that hard. Being an Uber driver should be pretty easy. Besides, you know, when you got to pick up drunk people, that would suck. If you have like rude customers, that's fine. But if I'm just sitting there minding my own business, trying to get to the airport, I'm the easiest ride you'll ever have. So just shut your face and get going. Unbelievable. But driverless Ubers, that sounds terrible. Skynet, people. Skynet is happening. Terminator. We got to be careful. With all these Alexa devices and you know, virtual assistants and driverless cars, humans are going to be obsolete. Not pretty. What else? Man, that got me a little hot real quick. I'm gonna bring it back down. What else? Oh my God! I can't believe I didn't talk about this right off Jump Street. Speaking of my roommate, having her on the podcast, we are going to see the movie It, and I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing it. You heard me talk about it. Last time. You heard me talk about how much it scares me, and that the original movie messed me up as a kid because I saw it when I was like 5. So mom, dad, brothers, I don't know who was in charge of that, letting that happen. But yeah, that movie messed me up when I was a kid and made my number one fear is clowns. Like it's not like a jokey thing. Like it's like a true phobia. That even when I'm on like Facebook or whatever and I'm scrolling through and like I see the trailer of the movie pop up and like it's just Pennywise, like it like jolts me a little bit in a, you know, it's bad. It's a real phobia. It's a real thing. But, you know, I want to face this fear. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I usually I'm not interested in this kind of stuff, but I need to face this fear and I'm terrified. I'm so scared, but I'm going to do it. going to do it. I'm going to have my roommate with me. She's going to protect me. She promised. I'm probably going to be hiding, under her arm the whole time. But I'm going to give it a shot, guys. But it's a big deal. This is like a big fear for me with Pennywise. And then like for Saw, like the puppet, like I don't like the way the puppet looks. And it's like, what a silly thing to be scared of. I understand that, but it's just like the way it looks. It just triggers me back to when I was young, and it like terrifies me. Like I can't look at that puppet from Saw. I can't look at Pennywise without like immediately feeling pure terror inside and like recoiling. It's crazy, but I'm going to face this fear. I'm probably going to cry, but I'm going to go see it because I'm trying to be a man. All right. I don't have shame. I don't have shame about being scared of all this because it's like a truly traumatic thing in my life. I saw this when I was young, the original, and Tim Curry messed me up. But then on top of that, at my 7th birthday, my mom hired a clown. So a clown was at my birthday when I was 7. And it just terrified me. I mean, I'm sure I had fun. I don't really remember. The only thing I do remember about that birthday is us terrorizing the clown. And I think it's because I was so scared of him. We just like beat him up. He was on his unicycle and he would let us all the little 7-year-olds grab his arms and drag him around the yard on his unicycle. And we decided to throw him into the garage door. And then we threw him into our big, huge sticker bushes. The poor guy just trying to make a buck. And, but yeah, I was scared. I was like, let's beat this clown up. Why is there a clown here? I'm gonna have to talk to my mom about that. That's what I'm gonna talk to my mom about, is why she brought me a clown. Who thought that was a bright idea? The worst part was my brothers. I got 2 super soakers for my birthday that year at the party. They filled them up. And when he was getting ready to leave, they just went to town on him with the super soakers, and they messed up his makeup and all the stuff in it. Maybe that was kind of scary because it looked like his face was melting, like in the movie It. But he had to go to another party after that, the poor guy. So now I'm kind of scared that like he holds that grudge. This clown, his name was Dino the Clown. I'm afraid that he holds this grudge against me because we terrorized him, threw him in the sticker bushes. It was funny to me when I was 7, but I think about it now, I'm like, ow. I go out there and like pick a blackberry and like poke my finger and I cry. And we threw him a full body in there. So I'm just like worried that he's going to come get me one day. And that like revenge is waiting for me. It's kind of scary. Yeah. So Dino, the clown, if you're listening out there, man, I'm sorry. Just please try to understand that I was scared of you because of the movie It. And I know that this movie It too was like hurting clowns out there who are trying to make a living. And that's kind of a bummer. I understand that. So if you could forgive me, Dino, I'm sorry. Let's go to a bar. I'll buy you a drink, and let's just like bury the hatchet and not have you bury the hatchet in my face. Let's just be adults now that I'm adult. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But that's the crazy thing about It too. Like if you know anything about the movie, I don't know, the spoilers or whatever, the book of the movies, it's like It is not a clown, right? It's like this evil force from like a different dimension. It's really crazy. But he takes a different form every time he comes back. And he came back as a clown, but then he transforms into like whatever you're most scared of, right? The thing for me, if he was coming after me, he wouldn't have to change a thing. He would just be the clown. He wouldn't change because that's what I'm most afraid of. I don't know what I'm going to do after this movie. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep. I don't know. I'm going to be paralyzed. Like, if I have to go to the bathroom at 3 a.m. and it's dark, I'm probably just going to pee my pants and pee my bed. That's probably what's going to happen. That's my guess. But who knows? Maybe I'll walk out of the theater and have conquered this. Or it's just going to be worse and I'm going to need therapy. We'll see. We'll find out. I'll keep you posted on that. We'll talk about that with Karina, and we'll see how it goes. A weird way, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm not the guy, like I said before, I'm not the guy that like I like to pay to get scared. Like it's just not a feeling that I enjoy. So we'll see. I gotta do this. I feel it. This is definitely very, very different than going to see the Goofy movie, but It must be done. It must. All right, people. I don't really have anything else to talk about this week. Keeping it short and sweet. Stay tuned. Be talking with my roommate. We'll be hanging out. Guys, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at iamTonyReavis. Make sure you follow your boy. Hit me up. Let me know what you want me to talk about in the future. Let me know, what kind of guests you want me to have. What you want me to talk to my mom about, what you want me to ask her. Send me some questions. She's great with advice. Turn that into an advice column. Just hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and let me know if you're into video games and stuff like that and you're watching the videos. I appreciate you, but what do you want me to play? I'm like, what should I play? I want to try some story-based games. I haven't really done that. I've been doing quick, Crash Bandicoot. There's really no story. It's kind of just quick edits and stuff like that. But I'm thinking of trying a longer story-based scenario going on, so stay tuned for that. But check that out, youtube.com/iamTonyReavis. Got that stuff going on. It's where you can find this podcast and stuff like that. But we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep it grooving. So stay tuned for the conversation. The first roommate files. Me and my roommate, Karina. Stay tuned. But first, I would like to take a moment to tell you about an awesome project I've been working on. Everyone has heard me talk about football and how much I love it. Well, I love it so much that I wrote a play about it. Play to the Whistle is a play about 4 friends getting together to watch a football game to bond after mourning the loss of a loved one whose funeral took place earlier that day. It's a dark comedy that will make you laugh, it'll make you cry, and I'm bringing it home to Seattle. That's right, but only if I can sell enough tickets. I currently have a Kickstarter running until the end of September where you can get your ticket to the show. The show's taking place at the famous Carco Theater in Renton, Washington, and I want you there. Tickets are only $20 each, and I promise it will be an event you won't soon forget. I can only make this happen if I sell at least 150 tickets and time is running out, so I need your help. Please help my dreams of performing at home come true and head over to the Kickstarter and grab your tickets today. Find the link in the description. All right, what up, everybody? I'm just chilling at home. Welcome to the Roommate Files, episode 1 on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast. I'm sitting here with my roommate, Karina. Say what up.
What's up, guys?
That's Karina. We're just hanging out at home. We just got back from a movie. Just saw the movie It.
Whoa.
Ugh.
You made it.
I made it through.
You made it.
I made it through. I had my doubts. I hid behind my popcorn bucket the entire movie. That thing was destroyed by the end of it because I kept twisting it and crumpling it. But I made it through. And just now the next goal is to not be thinking about it nonstop for the next.
Tonight when the lights go off.
Yeah, for the next however long I'm alive. But no, I liked it. I actually liked the movie. I heard that there was a lot of jump scares and I can sense that stuff. I know when they're coming, so I could kind of hide behind the popcorn bucket even lower when I felt them coming. There's the one I feel like it was a packed house too, which was, cool. But the one that got most people was one that was in the trailer.
Oh, the one where
she's in the bathroom. Yeah. And I was like, that's in the trailer, guys.
I didn't remember that though.
I knew it was coming too. So I was like,
No, I didn't remember that.
I remember it too because for some reason he looks different in that. In
the trailer with that scene?
No, in that scene he looks different than the rest of the movie. His makeup, so he's got the white face, but he's got that brown and yellow eye makeup that curls up, and then in that one it looks just a white face with beady eyes. He didn't have it didn't look like he had. That's just how I remember it. I don't know. Because he looked more like the old version in that one. When I saw it, just in my head, he's just real beady eyes and just big white face. But I liked it.
Which do you like better? Which performance?
From It? Mm-hmm. Which Pennywise?
Yeah. Because I haven't seen the previous one.
Yeah. So
I don't really
my initial it's gonna have to process, but my initial thought about this movie and with Pennywise is he's kind of just a device in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't feel like I was thinking like even halfway through the movie, I was like, all right, the conflict of this movie is it. Like, he's killing kids or whatever, but like the way they showcase him is just like, oh, one kid's by themselves, and then they showcase their fear. And that's when he was there. As opposed to like, it was really him there. And he's like really after these kids. It was kind of like, oh, this is what I'm scared. This is what I'm scared of. The lady in the painting. This is what I'm scared of. Blah, blah. And it was kind of like, oh, and then it's over. And it's kind of like just spooks until the very end when it's like, it hits the fan. Yeah. So I felt, and apparently that's, on Reddit and stuff like that, when they're talking about the movie, people are hoping with chapter 2 that they're going to get more in depth with Pennywise, because they didn't really get too much in depth with him besides the fact that he comes around every so while eating kids. Sure. But what's the real deal about him?
Yeah, I think I appreciate the fact that they did every kid's fear. Yeah, but at the same time, it was just like back to back to back to back. And it got a little old. Yeah. Honestly.
So I just felt like they were using him as like a device to move the story along, as opposed to like, he's the main conflict and like the main antagonist. He wasn't until the end. I guess.
There's a lot going on in the story.
But
I assume it's always hard to translate all the layers of a novel,
right,
into a film, into 2 hours. But it felt like a lot. There was a lot going on, because then you had the bully. Mm-hmm. And then you had the parents. I felt like he was a bigger problem, and the weird adults in the town were a bigger problem than it. Right. Which was weird. I was like, just move away. Not just from it. Move away from this bully. Move away from these weird adults. Yeah. Well, but that's also his sort of, way of dealing with the problems of childhood. Yeah. So I understood that. I get that, he's putting these kids in a town where it seems like everything else is fucked up and I was just reading this article where they were saying that the parents have forgotten what it's like to be a kid. Yeah. That's what Stephen King said. He's like, you think you remember what it's like to be a kid, but you don't really fully remember as it was. Mm-hmm. So I kept saying, where the are all these kids' parents? Right. But, it makes sense that it seems so insular in their world and the rest is like crazy on the outside, because that's how a child sees the world. Right. It's like all these external problems. Mm-hmm. But I liked it, but I wasn't like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. It was just like entertaining. Yeah. It was fun. The kids were amazing. Like their performances. You got a little annoyed by them. The characters, though. Well, kids are always hard. It's always hard to, to get really raw performances from actors if you're not a director that's really skilled at that. There was a couple of scenes where I was like, "Ooh, that's quite camp," but they were all great. They're all, especially the kid from Stranger Things. He's so charismatic. He's so funny. Shout out to you, Finn. Yeah, he's awesome. He did good. I'm excited for chapter 2. Though, like, to see what they can do with it, and like, I don't know, but where do you go from here? Because like now they're not afraid. Right. These are all spoilers. I don't want to talk spoilers, but I don't even want to talk about this movie for too long. I just say that I did it because I talked about it in the beginning of the podcast. I was going to go see it. I made it out alive. Here I am. I know. I'm surprised that you said you were going to go, because I was like, oh, okay. He doesn't want to. I know. I don't know why. Yeah. And it's like, I had to. It's this thing that's been like carrying with me for my whole life. And that's why it's funny. Like, when you ask like what performance, I don't know. Cause I don't remember Tim Curry's performance too much, just cause it terrified me so much. Just like the image of him. Mm-hmm. And it still does. Like I talk about, like, it's such like a visceral like phobia that I've like lived with, that like, it's not the idea of it. It's literally just the vision. If I'm scrolling on my phone and there's like a picture of like the trailer and I like see his face and it surprises me, it jolts me real quick. And that's, you know. I used to be like that with Samara from The Ring, because I think I was like 13 when I saw it. I'm trying to remember when it came out. Something like, it was like somewhere I was like 13 or 14. And I went to go see it at my sister's place, and she told me that there was a certain part of the movie where when she went to go see it,
people like freaked out in the theater, but she didn't tell me what it was. So I remember seeing the movie, and that's the part that freaked me out. I was waiting for it, but the part that freaked me out the most was at the very beginning, where the girl dies, but the mom opens the closet. And she's like in the closet, her head's like hanging off her body. Yeah. She's got that freaky face. Yeah. That scared the shit out of me. And I didn't sleep for like 3 days. So but now it's not a big deal. Because I remember it was in this apartment. I saw it again with my friends because my friend Sarah had never seen it. So I was like, we got to watch it. It'll scare you. So it's sort of, watching it as an adult didn't really do it. But for a long time, I was really scared of that image of Samara or like that face.
And I think like for me, it's like I still will feel that. For like if I like I'm just scrolling and it's just surprised me, I'm like, oh God, just because it's like embedded in me, but it's not such like a crippling thing where it's like when I was growing up, like if this movie came out when I was 15, there's no way I would change the channel if a trailer would come on. That's how I'd be. But I was like, no, I gotta do this, and I heard it was good, and I wanted to see it, and I'm glad I did, and that's that. I'm excited. I'll see the next one too. I'll do it.
Good.
I'll do it.
There's a lot of like, I'm trying to remember the last time I saw a film that really scared me.
You know what was funny? Like when you talked about like in the ring when people were like a part really messed them up. I remember Blair Witch Project, people left because like it was so scary to them just because people thought it was real.
Oh yeah.
Like people thought that was a real thing.
I remember that.
Because it was that like mockumentary.
And they did huge promos before where they were, I think it was early on, like 2 or 3 months before they started. They put stuff out on the internet that said that the actors had gone missing. So people really thought it was real, which is pretty cool. It's a good marketing strategy.
Okay. No. Big tough dog over there. Hey.
Stop.
Relax. Look at you. She's got this big toy and it's like draped over her like a scarf.
The Babadook scared me.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
I loved it because not because the thing itself was scary, but the whole premise behind the film at the very end where she's like going down to feed it.
Yeah.
I just thought that was brilliant. It's so brilliant. Like that to me that's one of my greatest fears is that I slowly start to go crazy, and you think that it's reality and like that freaks me out. And it was all her own fears and demons that were, manifesting themselves. And then little by little, she learns how to manage it and keep it and feed it a little bit without letting it take over her whole life. Oh my God. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. That scared the shit out of me. I remember I was like, I think I left the light on because I was living here, and I think I left the light in the hallway and the living room on because I didn't want to go to sleep in the dark.
I know. We'll see how I feel tonight.
Yeah,
I might be sleeping with the light on.
But here's the thing: I will say, I used to be really scared of the dark when I was a kid, and I didn't like to watch scary movies because I was so scared. But living alone has sort of eliminated that completely because you just have to be alone. There's nobody to take care of you. There's nobody to be like, don't worry, there's nothing here. Like I was by myself.
Yeah, I've never. So
I had to be like, that. Well, this is it. Yeah. If it's me, it's me. So I would just tell myself like, just stop. Like, don't be scared. Just go to sleep. And it did help because it was hard at first.
One of the scary things about the movie today was the very beginning, just when the kid goes into his basement, just because.
Oh, because we've all had that experience.
I have that basement.
Yeah.
Like my basement is terrifying. It's the ceiling is low. Don't know why. I have to like duck now. But when I was a kid, like we have our furnace down there and it clicks and bangs just randomly.
Yeah.
And it's just cement walls and it's like scary. And like that's where our laundry room is and stuff. So it's like I would be like down there and like I had the same technique every time. And it's like and there's like 4 different lights you have to turn on throughout to get to the, like you go down this, you turn the light on for the stairs. Yeah. So you go down the stairs and then there's the next switch for that next room. Then you go around a corner to another hallway, turn that light on, and then another light for the laundry room.
I don't like it.
And now I got to turn them all off one by one. And I just have these fears of, all these things. So I'd like
casually walk, turn the light off, casually walk, turn the light off. When I get to the last one, book it. I would book it up the stairs, like act like nothing's wrong, and get the heck out of there.
Yep.
So like that part, like even the beginning, I was just like, ugh. Yeah. And I actually, my last podcast I recorded from my basement, and I did it in the morning, but, and I was talking about it, and I was talking about the haunted house they have in Hollywood out here. And I was like, all my coworkers went as like a team building thing, and they were trying to figure out like a day they want to go, and I was like, oh, go Friday, because I wasn't going to be in town. I was like, there's no way I'm doing that.
It's just like a horror walkthrough, like the
it's just like a walkthrough. Yeah, and but they even have like, because it's free, so it's like you can record and stuff in there. So like I've seen like the news went on there because I just wanted to see it. And actually, one of my coworkers that I work with, that's one of her side jobs as well. She plays one of the Georgies, because Georgie leads you through.
That's freaky. Yeah,
and then it's just like doors shut and like a clown pops out, and then there's like projector of it from the movie, and but it's like it looks like it's the Neibolt house. Oh. So like they made it just exactly the same, and then you just walk through. And it's really short. I think it's only like a 5-minute or so experience, but I talked about that. I'm not into that.
I'm no fun in those houses.
I don't want to like I talk about Halloween Horror Nights. Like I'm not gonna pay like $80 to go do that. Yeah. No way.
I've only done that once, and it was. I'm not a fun. Like, I'm not fun to be with in a place like that. Because I remember I went to City Walk, and we were walking through one of the houses, and I was just like, you can't touch me. You're not allowed to touch me.
You're just like, just pulling the veil.
Yeah, I was just not like, because I was scared, and that was my defense mechanism. I was like, no, you're an actor. You can't touch me. You're not allowed to. I can sue you.
Right.
That was my way of dealing with
how
weird.
Every time, so like when I went to Universal Studios, they just have one year round. So it wasn't like the Halloween Horror Nights. It was just like their like old Universal Movie Monsters one.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was okay, but they had people that do that. They like pop out and they like act like they're gonna touch you. Yeah. But they always go for the genital region. Like that's their like ooh, like what, you gonna grab my junk? Like what are you doing? I want to punch you in the face. That's everyone's go-to move, like oh, right in the junk. I'm like no.
There was one. This guy I think he was carrying like a machete or something, and he got really close because there was a chain instead of like a stanchion or one of the bars or whatever. Right. They used to hold it back, so it had give, like it had slack on it, so he would like get really close to you and he would like do this with the machete, and it got super super close to my
I don't like that,
my torso.
I
was very scared.
I don't like that stuff. I have a lot of friends who work Halloween Horror Nights every year, and people love it, and I guess it's that adrenaline rush or whatever, and like that's not exciting to me. Like that adrenaline rush makes me feel bad afterwards. Some people love it and they love that rush. It's like I don't like it.
Yeah, I like scary movies. I like feeling that in a scary movie, but I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to walk through. I don't want to walk through a scary house. I don't know.
Yeah, go back to the movie tonight.
I'm gonna willingly do that.
Yeah, it's stuck in my head. Is that what I did like about it? Is like the terror of it and like the scariness of it is not like what a lot of horror movies do these days. It's either like cheap jump scares, right? Which there's a lot of jump scares in this movie, but like you sense them coming.
But they're not as manufactured as the other ones. Like the other ones are always exactly the same. Mm-hmm. There's like a tone, like boom.
Oh, right.
you know it's coming,
and then the music stops,
and then it gets silent, and then bam, like something happens.
There's someone's exactly reaching for a doorknob,
right?
And it's like and there's a few of those actually. There are, now that I think about it.
Sure.
Anyways, but it's like a pure, like, it's not, the second thing is what a lot of horror movies do these days. Like, oh, let's get real gross. And that's scary. Oh, yeah. And it's not. Like, it's just gory. It's like, oh, I don't want to. So, like, I talk about Saw, like, even though I'm, like, scared of Saw in the same way of It, like, just because it goes back to the clown thing with equals the puppet, like scared me, the visual of the puppet, just because of the clown thing. But I love the original, the first one.
Saw's good movie.
Because it's not a horror movie at all. It's like a psychological thriller.
Yeah, it's really
and it's like a whodunit. Like, who is it? And it's like, there's some quote unquote gross parts, but like they do it the old school way where they,
they give you the impression of the violence and they let you fill it, the rest in.
Yeah.
Like I think of like the original like Halloween movies. I think it's like Halloween 2. Michael Myers is chasing this old woman in the back. Not chasing, he walks everywhere he goes. But she's in the backyard and she doesn't have her glasses now, and there's like sheets hanging. She's hanging her sheets,
right.
and then she turns and looks, and you see Mike Myers there, and he lifts up his arm like he's gonna cut her, and then it cuts to the sheet, and you see a blood splatter.
Oh, that's
boom.
That's classic Hitchcock. That's Psycho. That's
like,
the shower scene.
Exactly, and like it's like you fill in the picture, and then it's like in Saw, it was like that too. Spoiler if you haven't seen it, but there's a part where it's like, oh, he's gonna cut his foot off, and you see him start to do it just enough to draw blood, and then it cuts to his face, and you see his face when he does it. That's all you need. Yeah. And then they get to the next ones, and like you're seeing, just gross. Like, they just get gross, and it's because like the suspense of it is because I'm not gonna say who's what because it's cool if you've never seen it, but like now that you know who's who,
the first one?
Like once you know like the big reveal and the secret and stuff at the end, it's like, well, they don't have that now, so now what do they rely on for the rest of their story?
Right.
And they just get gross, and it's like uncomfortable to watch. Like I'm just watching it through my hands because I like the story, not the story, but like. I hate the story, but it's like an interesting, like the first time I watched that movie, like the very end, my jaw hit the floor because I thought through the whole movie, I was like, oh, it's this person. Oh, no, it's going to be that person. No, oh, no, it is this person. Oh, no, it is that person. And then it like, you know.
Yeah, it's a really great
And I like that aspect of horror and like with like Michael Myers. And it's like, it's that like terror of like what's gonna happen, not the like this is gross.
It's suspense. It's suspense.
You
I
know?
mean that is something that like if you watch, have you ever seen Vertigo?
Yeah.
Vertigo is like that, and it's not a horror at all, but it's terrifying. It's so scary. And the thing that I was going to say about Saw is that what I love that you experience when you see it is what would I do in that situation, which just creates that
more tension.
More tension, more fear.
Because you're like, no, what are you doing? Don't go that way. Or
the one movie that I don't mind the gore because that's the whole point, but it is still really hard to watch is Hostel.
I don't like it. I hated that movie.
I liked the first one a lot.
I hated it because I felt like, what's the point of this? Like, what is the like over the driving conflict of like, this is just like gore for gore's sake.
Well,
like the movie is about gore.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, how gory can we get? Like that's what the movie is.
Right. I liked that in that film though, because with that one, it's the holy shit, this could happen. You know.
Well, that's the same thing with Saw too. Like that was like, oh, it's not. There's nothing like mystical about it. There's nothing like demonic or like something that it's like a monster. Like it's human. You know.
Yeah, I feel like
that's why Saw was scary to me too. Because it could happen. Because someone could just kidnap someone and make them do this stuff.
Sure.
And that's gross and scary to think about.
Sure.
You know, it's not like Jason, where he's like, oh, he's like dead, but he's not dead, and he's like he drowned, but he's a monster now. Or it's not Freddy Krueger. It's like, oh, it's in your dreams. Like it's like a real. There's no monster.
I saw that as an adult, and that scared me. That's actually still scares me. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's that's a good one. It preys on, you know, stuff, and that's the thing too. Is like you can't control having a nightmare. For the most part.
Yeah.
Like I've been lucky enough to, I could lucid dream sometimes. And there's a few times in my life where it's like, I'm having a nightmare. Like I remember one time there was like a killer in my house type thing.
Oh, you told me about this.
And then I'm just like freaking out. And it was like the longest dream ever. And I couldn't get out of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is scary. And I realized that me and my family went and hid in the room. And at a certain point I realized like, oh wait, that's not my dad. That's not my real mom. I'm dreaming. And I turned into the Incredible Hulk and just
that's cool.
And killed the guy, and I woke up.
That's awesome.
Know? So it's like, I'm lucky enough there, but like, yeah, it's something scary. It's like you can't control your dreams, and it's like a scary thing.
Yeah, I've been having, actually, it's funny that we're talking about this because I have had 2 nights in a row I've had nightmares. And I don't really get them anymore. And you know what I notice now, and I'm sure a lot of adults will agree, that they're no longer nightmares like monsters or scary things. It's
worse.
It's worse.
It's emotional nightmares.
It's emotional. that you don't want to deal with in waking life.
I told you that the other day. Where I was like, man, I had a bad dream, and bad dream doesn't mean scary anymore. Bad dream is like, I was with people I didn't want to be with in my dream, or stuff like that. No,
it'll manifest in very strange ways in my head now. Like, there's something that I'm guilty about, and like, for example, I had a dream a couple of days ago that I killed a guy. And I was like,
I'm moving out, by the way.
I was like, well, I guess I mean, I felt bad about it, and I was like, but I guess, how do I cover it up so that nobody finds out? And I woke up feeling terrible because I was trying to cover up a murder. It was a weird, I must have been feeling guilty about something. Yeah. You know, like, I could tell what the psychology was in my head. I'm like, I got some shit to figure out, I guess. Yeah. But it's really weird how that starts to happen when the real world stuff starts to creep into the, like, up kaleidoscope of your brain where it's like, here, let me turn this into something really bizarre in your dream.
It's so weird. Like, what am I thinking about that makes this happen?
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I used to have a lot of dreams of my parents dying when I was a kid.
Yeah, I hate that.
That sucked.
I remember I had a lucid dream, and it wasn't about anyone dying, but it was the saddest I ever was when I woke up. There's a point where it's like, I wanted to go home from LA. Like, I needed to go home, and I was like on the fence between actually doing it for like just taking a break for a month or two and actually going home. And it was weighing heavily on my mind. And I had a dream where it was October, and the Mariners baseball season had just ended like a few days before. And in my dream, I was with my brothers and my best friend Dane, and we were watching opening day of the next season. And we're sitting there, and what happens for me when I start to lucid dream and I start piecing things together that I'm dreaming without waking up. Sometimes I start to piece it together. I'm like, I'm dreaming, but that gets me to wake up. I'm like, no, because I want to lucid.
That happens to me too, yeah.
But this time I pieced it together. I was like, okay, this stadium is really small. This is not like a professional baseball stadium. And I was like, wait, the Mariners season just ended. So this is not real. I'm dreaming. And once I figured that, it was so weird, because usually when I'm dreaming, lucid dreaming, and it's like I lucid dream to make my dream end. Like, I'm like scared, let me find a cliff, I'll jump off and I'll wake up.
Right.
This, I was like, I want to stay in this dream as long as possible, because I wanted to be home, and I was with my brothers and my best friend. And I remember telling them, it was weird. It was like Inception, because I remember in my dream telling them I was dreaming and that we could do whatever we want.
That's so cool.
So the game was over, Mariners won 20-0 or something. And I was like, guys, let's go on the field and high five them. They're like, what? No, we can't do that. And I was like, trust me, we can. And it was like Inception, where we started going down and a security guard came up, like, no, you can't come on the field. And I just looked at him and I was like, it's cool. And then, and it was like Inception, you've seen Inception?
Of course.
So it's like this, when the when they start to get aware that they're dreaming, and people start to turn on you. That's what it was. It was like the guard was like, no, you can't do this. And I was like, it's cool. And it was because it was my dream. So he let us on. We just ran on the field, started high-fiving the players. And then I was like, this is awesome, but I want to see my parents, because I missed my whole family. So there was a little cafe behind, I guess I created it in my head, because it was my dream. So I created a little restaurant behind home plate, and we went in there, and my parents were already sitting there waiting. So I sat and had this whole meal with my family in my dream. And then it was at the end, I could feel myself starting to wake up. So I went to my mom and my dad. I was like, all right, give me a hug, say goodbye. They're like, why? We can just go here. I was like, yeah, but I'm going to wake up and you're not going to be here. Wow. So let me just say goodbye. And I woke up and I was like, but it was really cool, and it felt so real. And it was crazy.
Did that happen? When you sat down to eat with them, did that happen in what felt like real time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird.
That's
when it became real time, when I realized I was dreaming. So the baseball game, I remember I was hanging out with my brothers and watching the game, and then before I knew it, the game was over. So I don't even remember watching the game.
Right.
And that's when that started putting it together, and then it started to be real time once I was in control.
That never happens to me. I mean, there have been times where I told you about the dream that I had when I was like, I want to go to India.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but even when that was happening, even when I knew, I'm dreaming, I know this is going to, like keep going as long as I want it to keep going, or at least as long as I can stay asleep, it still moved like a dream. Like it wasn't like real time.
Right, yeah, you're cutting in and out.
But it was funny. I did have a thought when I was like, I can go anywhere. I want to go to India. I've never been to India. Let's go to India. And then I shot up like Neo in the Matrix. And then I remember I closed my eyes and I was like, wait, the human brain cannot imagine what it's never seen before. Right. So I've never been to India. I mean, I've seen pictures, but I can't really imagine what it would be like. And then when I thought that to myself, I woke up.
And it's a weird thing too. On that note, is like you can't create faces in dreams. And there's like this thing in the world where it's like everyone dreams the same face.
What?
And it's this thing I heard about where it's like we've all seen the same fictional person in our dream. Like people like recognize, like, I don't know, they did a study where it's like people all described the same person that they've never met. And it's like, because what we can do is combined stuff. So it's like, it might not be a real person, but it's like, it has this person's eyes and this person's nose and this person's, ears.
That's so cool.
Hair. Because like I remember, and it's weird too, because I have dreams where I don't know the people. I've seen them somewhere apparently.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, they say that even like walking down the street or going to the grocery store, if you look at somebody, it just stores it, But
because I told you about my nightmare saga as a child that I had for years growing up.
That is so epic.
I know, it's crazy. I had this nightmare from age 5, maybe. I think it all stemmed from the it thing, probably. But like I'd have the same dream, every few months, maybe like every year, like once a year, even that far apart. And I was like, there was a killer on the loose and I never saw it. And I was with this group of people who I'd never met before. I knew them in my dream. I was a kid. They were all adults, which was weird. Huh. And there was like 15 of us to start. And then every time I had the dream, the next year or 6 months down the road or whatever, one of the people were gone.
Wow.
And I'd wake, and then I'd have the dream and one of the next people were gone. And then another people. And I never had anyone that I knew in my dream. No one I recognized when I woke up. Ever. Until the very last one, when it was me and one guy, which I'll never forget. His name was Luke.
Shout out to Luke.
Luke, my guardian angel. He told me to hide. And I never recognized places. I never recognized people. And then the last dream, it was me, Luke, and this other lady, and she disappeared. So it was just me and Luke, and we were in my garage. And that was the first time that I was like, boom, now I know where I'm at. And he told me to hide under my dad's workbench. And from there, you could see the garage door has this little square window. And I could just look out. And he's like, stay here. You'll be fine, I promise. And then he left. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And that's the first time I saw the killer in the window of the garage door. Whoa. And I couldn't really make out his face. It kind of like, remembering it, it kind of was like a mix between like the Scream mask, but then more human. And I saw it and he just stared, but he couldn't open the door. But then the garage doors, the big ones that you pull your car into, started to open. And I was like, I'm dead. And all of a sudden, on bikes,
like... Was it your dad and your brother?
Not my dad, but it was my 2 brothers, my neighbor, Derek, and another one of my brother's friends came in on their bikes with bats.
That's awesome.
And like the killer like turned around and they just beat the hell out of it. And that was it. And then it was like, it was over. I never had it ever again. And it was like, so weird.
So that's interesting. What do you think who do you think the killer was representing in your life, or what?
I don't know. I really don't.
How old are you?
It started when I was young, like 5. And I would have this dream. I'd get scared. I'd wake up from it in the middle of the night and I'd go into my parents' room and I would sleep in their room, but I'd be so scared. So it was crazy. This dream, every time I had the continuing story of this dream, every time I would go back to sleep, the next dream would be the same, where it'd be nothing but blank. It was like Haunted Mansion, where it's like the room stretches. Yeah. Because I was so scared to fall back asleep and close my eyes, I think I'd fall asleep with my eyes open. And I would be looking at this. I'd be looking at the ceiling. I'd be looking at the ceiling, and the next dream I would have, I'd have the scary dream. I'd go in my parents' room. I'd lay on the floor or whatever, just with them, and I would
the next dream would just be nothing, where it just looked like the ceiling was constantly going up and I was like sinking lower and lower and lower and lower, and there was no sound. There was nothing. Jesus. Just nothingness. And that's what it was. And it was like terror. And then I'd wake up and be terrified from that.
Oh my God.
So like that happened every time. It was so weird. So it was like a 2 combo dream nightmare that I had recurring.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's really strange what the kid's brain will do.
Yeah.
Because it's still learning, and it's still like there's a lot of stuff that it can't comprehend yet, especially when it comes to like psychological stuff that you're going through as a kid. You know?
And I think, so I was like 5, and I honestly, it lasted until I was like 18. Like when I was 18, that's when I had the last one. But even, so it lasted, 13 years, and it was like I had one a year pretty much.
Did you grow in the...
No, I was a kid the entire time in the dream.
Even when you were 18?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was a kid. And like when my brother and my brothers and Derek, they came, it was like they were like 12 and 14. So like when I was like 6 years old, it was like what they were, And yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And Luke saved me. Like I feel like he was like my guardian angel, and like he's like, stay here. And then he went and got my family.
Do you remember what he looked like?
Not really. Just a younger dude.
I never had dreams like that. I mean, my dreams are always really bizarre.
Yeah.
Like very strange. I remember one time I had a dream about this. I had a big crush on this guy named Jonathan in middle school. And I had a dream that this is going to make me sound so crazy. I had a dream that he and his girlfriend at the time were buried up to their necks in my backyard.
Oh my God.
And I was pouring syrup over their heads.
Oh my God.
I think I'm crazy.
That's sadistic.
I know. I woke up and I was terrified of myself.
I'm really moving out.
It was really weird. But just like bizarre stuff, like stuff that doesn't make sense like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't
logically
make any sense.
And I think that's what's scary too, is like all my stuff is like hyper real.
I never have dreams like that. Mine are really abstract.
Like I never have dreams where I'm like, oh, I'm walking up the stairs sideways and like upside down. Like I wish, but all my dreams are like, I wake up, I'm like, I'm okay. That wasn't real.
Wow, that's so wild.
Yeah.
No, I had
my nightmares anyways.
I have dreams where I'm like, have you ever experienced this where you're flying, but you're not really flying?
Not really. The only times is if like I'm having a scary dream and I start to lucid dream. I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming. Let me just get out of here. And I like jump like Superman and like fly off to get away. But like, I never like,
When I was a kid, I would have dreams where I would try and fly, but I would only lift off the ground like this much, and then I'd have to swim through the air.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember one really scary. Oh, wow. Stomach just...
Yeah, I think they will hear that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I must have been like 7 or 8. And I was at school, like in real life, I was at school and I was talking to my friends and they were like, if you just imagine yourself in a video game, you'll be able to get out of the dream. I don't know how this came about. I know. I don't know where that came from, but we were super young. But then I think that same week I had a dream. I was in the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like on a track or anything. I was just walking through a house and things kept like coming out and popping out at me. And I remember I was like running out of a room and that something was chasing me and I kept trying to run, but I couldn't move. So I was running in place. Like I was running through.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Oh, it was terrible.
I don't have that exactly, but I can't drive in my dreams.
Oh, really?
I drive off of like bridges and like I can't, like I'm like, why am I not turning? I'm gonna go off this bridge, like, but I'm never like, oh, I die in the dream. It's like we like crash horribly, but then it's like dream fast forward that I'm like, okay.
I've never ever driven in a dream.
Cannot drive.
Not once.
It's so frustrating.
That's so wild. I wonder why that is. I've never been in a car in my dreams.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Dreams are weird.
I would always have, if I had like sports dreams, I still have them sometimes, and I wake up kind of sad. Where I'll be back in high school playing football, and it's like the dream is like us like getting ready to play the game, and then I wake up. I never get to play. And then when I had dreams of in like high school or whatever, where I had baseball dreams, I would get up to bat, and I would wake up. I never get to bat. Aww. Or I would forget my cleats, or I would, all that stuff. So I never get to play in my dream.
I still have dreams where I am about to go on stage to do a play, and I don't know what the play is. Mm-hmm. I haven't studied any of my lines. I don't know who my character is. Yeah. And I'm just like, I guess I'm winging it.
Have you ever played that improv game, Actor's Nightmare?
I don't think so.
It's fun. It's where it's like, so there's two people doing a scene, and how you do it is you bring a bunch of scripts, and you audience or whatever, they randomly pick a script, and then they pick a page, or like you flip through and they say stop. So then you go to that page, and then you read all the characters who are there. And then, so it's like, all right, you have 4 characters and someone picks a character. All right. So now, it's like, oh, Streetcar Named Desire. And then you flip through, it's like here, and it's like Stella. Okay. So now if we're doing the scene together, if it's your Actor's Nightmare, I read all of Stella's lines, and you just improv.
Oh, wow.
So then it's like, I'll say something, and then you respond like we're doing a scene, but then you have to make sense of my next line.
That's so cool.
My next line, I just read the next line.
That's cool.
And then it's like you have to find a way to tie it together. It's a pretty interesting one. It's pretty creative.
That is really creative. No, we used to get scripts with no character, no scene description, just lines, just
etudes is what we would call them.
What?
Etudes.
You AMTA kids.
That's what we call it. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
You have to make sense of it. It's like, hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Are you still going?
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then they gave different groups the same script, so then you could see it back to back. Right. I remember that. That was a lot of fun.
We had one class where it was like, we didn't even have lines, but we had to we walked into a house that we didn't know, and we couldn't act anything. So we couldn't be like, oh no, I stepped in a puddle, and make it so caricature obvious that we did that. We had to just if we saw blood on the walls, we just saw the blood on the walls. And it was like, okay, so you just deal with it. But it's trying to get everyone else to kind of be on board without being so over oh my God, blood on the wall. By just you just see the blood on the wall. Don't worry about if they understand it.
Show me, don't
eat the taco. Me. Yeah, eat the taco. Don't pretend to eat the taco.
Right.
Eat the taco.
Right.
That was the AMTA New York thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we got deep. Dreams. We talked about horror movies. This is not what I planned for the Roommate Files first one. I was like, maybe we'll talk about how we met and because we've been living together 6 months now. This is the 6 month
today
anniversary.
It's our anniversary.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about how we met, or we used to work together and that whole thing. And just took off on us.
I mean, we can.
We still can, yeah.
Here's what happened. We met at work. And we're like, hey, let's be friends. And then we were friends. And
yeah. The only good thing that came out of that job was the friends that I made.
I know. Actually, it's pretty cool that we're all still friends.
So we used to work at an escape room. We're not going to say which one, but there was good times when it was just us.
Yeah.
And we met each other and there was good people there. But yeah, it was rough. It was a rough gig, but
it was very rough.
Look back at it now and it's I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met our good friend Keith, who was in my play, and just he's a good brother. He's one of my best friends. I lived on his couch for a few months when I had nowhere to go. It's man, if I didn't, and now I live with you. Literally, if I didn't have that job, I wouldn't be here. I literally wouldn't still be here doing what I'm doing. I'd have been back home.
Really?
I think so.
That can't be true.
I'm serious. If I didn't have him saying stay with me, he didn't even want me to go back to Seattle in the first place. He wanted me to just stay at the beginning. I was like, I need to go and recharge. And then the door was open for when I came back.
So wait, when you went back home, did you not have a place to live Like, did you not have a lined up place to live?
No, not here.
Wow, I didn't know that. Because I remember when you left.
I just had
I remember you texting me the day that you left.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I did. Like, I was still living with Brent and my other roommates, but one of my roommates, something happened and he had to go home to Minnesota.
Right.
But it had already been decided that I was going before that happened. But it was kind of just like, I needed to, like, I just wasn't in a good place mentally with like I was not doing what I wanted to be doing. Like I was like, I can't just be out here for the sake of being out here. If that's the case, I need to go home. If I'm not out, cause it's hard. There's a lot of, it's hard every day to be away from my family and just to be here. And like, it's a lot. So if I'm not here for the right reason and like doing what I'm here to do, I shouldn't be here. Yeah. And I wasn't. I was working at the escape room, just doing that every day. And that's what my life was. And I was like, no, that's not it. And so I just had to get out of that apartment that I was in for like 3 years. And there's like people in and out of that apartment. God, I lived with 9 different people in that apartment over the 3 years. Not like all at one time. Like there was never more than 4 of us there at the time. Right. But like someone would leave. So we'd have to find another person. And then someone else left. And like, I was the one that was there from beginning to end. So I was like, I can't do it. I can't be here anymore. I gotta go. Like, it was like, I can't just see these same walls anymore. There's bad memories here. There's good memories here, but like, I just need something new. And so I really didn't. I didn't have a place. I was looking with my friend Gina. We were looking for a place and we just couldn't really find anything that kind of worked for all of us. There was me, Gina, and our friend Kayla to try to find something that worked for all of us. And there was nothing like in our price range and like that worked for all of us. And yeah, that was it. I was going home and I was like, well, I'll figure it out when I get back, and stayed on Keith's couch for 3 months and then came here when you texted me that day. And I'm glad you did too, because I was working on a different job and I was getting paid a lot more, but it was a temporary thing. And I was like, well, I can afford, like, I was like, I didn't have anyone else to live with. I didn't have like, so I was looking for a place for myself. And if I would have signed a lease, I'd have been hosed. It was like, what was it? Like a month after I was living here that I got that job ended.
I couldn't believe how that happened too. Yeah. I was supposed to do a movie and 2 days, it had been pushed back twice. And then I was supposed to be doing night shoots, which is why I texted you to come live here in the first place, because I needed somebody to watch Lee. Because who's adorable right now. Look at her. Yeah. But I needed somebody to watch her, and so that's why I texted you. And then 2 days before the movie was supposed to start, it falls through. And then 2 days after that, or like the day after I found out, you found out you weren't. Oh my God, it's so crazy. You found out you weren't going to be. It
was literally the next day, because it was something happened that you didn't tell me until the next day. And I was like, this is funny because I wrote a pilot for a show that's like about this kind of, and like, it was literally like, I was sitting at my desk, nothing to do because they didn't need me anymore. So there was no work for me. Right. And you texted me what happened with the movie. And I was like, oh no. And like literally like an hour later, the boss was like, hey, can we talk to you in the conference room for a second? I was like, yeah, great. I went in there and they're like, look, we can't keep you on. I was like, oh man, what has happened to us?
That month was bleak.
That was a bleak month. I was like, oh my gosh. And I'd been sick for like 2 weeks before that. And I had to miss like 4 days of work. And I was like really sick. And then I was like, oh great. Now what? You know? It was Bummerville in this apartment.
It really was.
But it turned out we used it positive. Well, we joked about it a lot to keep us from hating ourselves. We watched Louis C.K. and that became like the running gag in this apartment. I was like, I guess I could just kill myself. Like as a joke. We never,
I told you
don't advocate that, but
I was around somebody else, not you. And I said that joke, and I was like, well, I could just kill myself. And they looked at me like, what?
Like, sound the alarm.
I was like, no, it's not. Never mind. Yeah. You don't understand.
Yeah. And that was a bummer. But we got through it, and things are going all right. Peaks and valleys. That's where it's. That's how it goes.
No, I will say I've only lived with, I mean, other than boyfriends, but I've only had one roommate in my life, other than you, roommate other than you. And so far, it's pretty easy going the whole way. I don't think I've ever gotten annoyed by you.
Good. So I can be annoying.
I mean,
that's the cool thing.
You can be annoying, but I'm like, oh,
that's
whatever.
the cool thing too. Like, I was talking to my mom about it. Just like how we're doing, how we're getting along and stuff. And it's like, we do our own thing a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like, we don't see each other a ton. Cause like you'll work at night, I'll work during the day. And it's like, we'll be gone different times. And then he'll come home from work and we kind of just go to bed or whatever. And we kind of just like do our own thing. And it's like, I live my room's right next to the living room. So it's like, if she comes and like hangs out and watches TV and I'm like doing my own thing in my room, working on something, but then I'll just like come out for like an hour. And like, it's fine. Like we can just do whatever. Like we don't need to like, there's not that like needy thing with like roommates where it's like, we have to be buddies.
Right.
Like, let's set aside time and like be friends. Like, no, we're just friends. We do stuff. Yeah. Like I'll be at work. I'm like, hey, you want to get, lunch or whatever? Yeah. It's like, yeah, great. We go.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about it, and I was like, I think the male-female thing also has something to do with the fact that we just by nature have to be separate. Like, if I was living with a girl, I wouldn't care. Like, I forgot my towel. I need to walk outside. Right. And then you switch clothes and you talk about boys, and it's like you can be very in each other's business. Mm-hmm. And my last roommate in college, it was a girl, and that's sort of what we did, And then we always had to be together. And I'm so not like that just in general. Like I love to have my own space and my own time, and I need to be left alone. That when I was living with her, she'd be like, or I'd say like, I'm gonna go get some lunch. She'd be like, okay, I'll come with you. I'm like, no,
I didn't invite you.
I'm going to get lunch. I loved her, but it was just too much. But I like the fact that we do, one, we don't have to do that, and two, sometimes we just can't, like just by our genders, like I can't just walk out naked or whatever, but that's something that I think is your what's the word I'm looking for? Your routine is different than my routine too. Right. So we don't
get each other's way too often.
Yeah, not at all.
And if we feel like we're going to, we plan it out. Mm-hmm. Or if like we got to leave the house at the same time, we work it out beforehand.
Right.
And I'm proud to say 6 months, I've only left the toilet seat up once. And 3 times? But the first time you said like, oh, you did it today. And I don't think that was me. Because it was when people were coming here for working on my play.
Oh, really?
So I think it was Keith or something. Keith. Throwing you under the bus.
You actually did it recently. Like within the last 2 weeks. It was funny because I walked in the bathroom and I was like, whoa.
I don't know if it was me.
Who else could it have been?
I don't know. I was gone for a week and a half.
It was you for sure.
Or a week. I don't know.
It was you for sure.
I'm pretty good at it.
You are.
It's a habit. Like I don't even have to think about it.
But I don't care.
I know you don't. That's the thing. But like I do. I care.
Okay.
Man, I don't. That's the thing. It's like, I think so. One time when you like, oh, you did it, and I was like, yeah, I remember. I did do it.
Yeah.
Dang it. I don't remember. I feel like I'm on it always.
Yeah,
I even do it at work, like always.
3 times out of 6 months is not too shabby.
It's true, but I'm only taking the fall for one.
Okay.
Right now, I think the other ones are not my fault.
No, I will say the only thing that you have ever done that has annoyed me, and it has nothing to do with you. That's the funny thing, is that when you play video games, you get so loud when you get angry, and it actually
tenses you up.
Because you know what I think it is, honestly, is that you have the same, when you get mad, you have the same sort of timbre to your voice that my dad does, and I think I think it's something really, really.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's something really, visceral, like a reaction of oh my God.
It's funny.
And
but not funny at the same time. It's funny.
It's very strange. Like I remember one time I was in the kitchen and I was like, why does this bother me so much?
That's so funny.
Because I wasn't annoyed with you. It was the sound.
Something was bugging you.
It was the sound. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, that's so uncomfortable. And I had to walk away.
That's so funny. And what's funny too is I'm doing gaming videos and stuff on my YouTube channel, and I've always wanted to do it. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do this. And then it was a comment that you said that pushed me over the edge to start it.
Me?
I don't think you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's like, so when my TV broke, I moved my PlayStation to the living room. I didn't play it very often just because I don't play it very often. I really don't.
Right.
Unless I'm doing videos and stuff. But
was this when you were doing Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah. Like new Crash Bandicoot just came out, and I was like, and I was talking about, I was like, you know, they're being remastered and it's coming out. And you're like, what? Let's get it. I was like, I'm gonna get it. And
I still haven't played it.
And I got it. Yeah, play it. And I got it, and I was playing one day while you were sitting here doing something, and I was getting mad at it, but kind of like joke mad, but like. It's always real mad. Like even in my videos, like it's real. I'm really mad, but like I turn it up to 11 and like I make it a joke, but there's rage inside. I play it all. I play it as a humorous thing for you. I know that you're watching. So I was kind of doing that, and you're like, oh, this is more entertaining than actually playing, is watching you play.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, all right, I can do this, because I've always wanted to do it. You know, and it was something I want to do. And it's like, that's how most of the time, like I'm a terrible, when it comes to like being an actor and writer, I'm terrible where it's like, I don't watch enough new shows. I don't watch enough. I get a lot of entertainment from YouTube.
Sure.
Just like growing up, like I'm super into video game stuff. That's why I'm doing this. And so I've always wanted to do it. And like, that was the like thing. I was like, all right, cause you're not my target demographic at all. Yeah. And I was like, oh, if she thinks it's funny, if I like do it how I want, then it's like, you know, people can think it's funny. So I went for it.
You're welcome, world.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, you're one of the most like driven people I think I've ever met. You're like constantly doing something, which is nice, because I think we're both like that.
Yeah.
Like I get very stir crazy when I don't do something, and I get depressed.
Yeah.
So I need to be working on something all the time, at least even just like I'm watching this for research purposes or whatever, and to have somebody around who has that same energy is nice, because it's inspiring.
Yeah, I agree. And that was a big thing of why I had to go home when I did, because I was not in a good place that way. I wasn't doing anything career-wise, or even like with the ambitious things I have. Because even things I do today, these gaming videos, like I get 15 views on a video, like, and I literally spend like a day, like a full day creating it, and it's like I only get 15 views. Like that's a bummer, but it's like it's something to do, and it's like sparking my creativity. It's helping me, you know, do different things. And it's like I wasn't doing that, and I was like, people I was around weren't doing anything, and that was like I'd come home and not want to do anything. I was at work, and I hated being at work, so I couldn't even get away from it then. Yeah. So it was like I hated being at home. I hated being at work. I wasn't doing anything else. Yeah. So it was like it was all, you know, bad. And then I went home, and I felt bad. I feel so bad I was home for 2 months of the holidays, and I was not pleasant to be around, because I went home and did nothing. The same thing I was doing in LA. I just went and did it at home.
Yeah.
And it's like I never get to be home, and now I'm finally at home, and it's like I'm just staying in my room. Like I feel bad. Like, and that's why it's like now, like when I go home, like I make sure to, you know, I'm hanging out, and like my last trip home was amazing. Like it was awesome. But yeah, it was a bummer. Do you feel better now? Like, do you? Oh, yeah, I feel fantastic. I've never felt better.
Good.
This whole year. Do
you remember what I told you before you left? I remember you sent me a text either like the day you were leaving or the day before you were leaving or something, and you were like, I feel like I'm in a rut. I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I think I said something like, that's how you feel right before, you know, something like the arrow pulls back. Right, exactly. The tension before it shoots forward. Yeah. Yeah, no, this year has been... It's good that you feel that way. This year has been great. Just creatively, you know, I finished my play, got to perform that. Starting this whole YouTube thing and podcast, something else. I remember I did a podcast back before I moved to LA. So like when I first got into like entertainment and like writing, like I like practiced writing by writing like a web series that we did one episode of. But it was like a full length script. It was like a 22-minute thing. I shot it, directed it, edited it, and it's like garbage. But like I never did it before, you know? Sure. And me and my buddy who did that, like we did a podcast too, just like for fun. And we had like one episode, and it was kind of just like talking about current events and entertainment and stuff. So it's like, again, it's some stuff that I've always wanted to do. And now it's like, I'm kind of learning on the fly and like how to like really do it. Cause I used to do radio back home and stuff. So this is kind of like reaching back out to that.
getting to that radio again because I had a lot of fun doing radio and stuff. But yeah, it's like this year's been crazy. Just the stuff that I'm doing, like professionally wise, it's not a very financially stable year. I'm like in the red big time from the project I've done, but they're investments. They're not, so
Exactly.
it's like the growth I had getting to do my play, like writing it and producing it, putting it on, and then doing all this stuff, the YouTube stuff, the podcast and stuff. It's like, man, I'm so happy to be creating. And it's so fun. Even if I had an old teacher, my English teacher from 10th grade, comment on my Instagram video, the clip of my YouTube video talking about like, oh, this is the funniest part is when it goes big on your face. Like it's like something that like, it's not that I don't make that video for him.
Right.
It's for like younger, and it's like, okay, that makes it worth it,
Yeah.
And,
well, that's the thing about, doing projects, that aren't going to pay off in any way in terms of, a monetary sense. It's just you're finding your unique voice. You're going to do shit stuff until you don't do shit stuff. And that's the fun of it. It's like, what do I enjoy doing? What do I like doing? What is my message? What am I trying to say? When do I feel the best? When do I feel the most creative? What do I find funny? I mean, that's kind of priceless, that learning experience of, figuring all that stuff out. I mean, that's where I am too, but, I just keep thinking like, I don't really... I mean, obviously the end game is money, but like right now I'm like, I'm just having so much fun doing this and learning and, trial by fire pretty much. Like it's fun. It's lot of
super fun. And the cool thing for me too, doing that again, just like, it's something I've always wanted to do, but also now do with this podcast and like weekly, like I'm setting up these interviews and getting to interview like people who are my friends. And then like some people that I'm not super close with. So like the first 3 weeks I have Jess, who's like one of my best friends on first, then friend Marissa, who like we would never were like super close friends and never even talked that much, but we knew about each other or whatever. And getting to like hear her story, and like it's to like the podcast is to try to inspire people, and like I'm getting inspired in the process too, hearing that, and I have a lot of cool interviews coming up with people that I'm working with to outside of just artists, and like having athletes and stuff and people with different stories. And it's like, it's cool for me, even if no one else is listening. Yeah. Me getting to interview them and hear their story is cool for me. Yeah. And this is cool to get to do. I'm excited to do more of these, the roommate files, where we just kind of sit and talk. Because when I do interviews, I don't talk too much. I kind of just sit and let them tell stories. So it's cool to get to do some more back and forth.
So is this going to turn into me interviewing you now?
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see what the future episodes hold. But thanks for doing it. Thanks for being on. I do have bad news though. This entire time, it's been about an hour, and we started off talking about it, and the whole hour I haven't stopped thinking about it. Like even when we're talking about other stuff, like it's still, I'm just like, no. I'm like still like, oh man, I don't want to turn the light off tonight. Oh, no. It's still there. I'm like, dang it, that's not a good sign.
Leave the light on.
It's not a good side. So
leave the TV on.
I'm trying to like, I'll not think about it for like 20 seconds. And then I think about it.
Let's watch Aladdin or something.
Yeah, we do need to watch, or Emperor's New Groove. That's our go-to.
That's a good one.
We've seen it so many times. That was like first week I moved in. We want to watch a movie together. We watched that. And then we turned it on the other day, and just it's our go-to. But all right, everybody, it's Karina. Say goodbye to the folks. You can't just wave. They can't see you.
Goodbye.
And we'll have you back on, and thanks for doing it. Everyone stay tuned. I'm going to call my mom, and that's always fun. I get to talk to my mom every week. I have a good question for her, so stay tuned. I'm going to ask her about clowns.
It's 12:30. You're going to call your mom?
Well, it's podcast magic. Like I don't have to do it right now. I edit it. It's enough pulling the curtain. You're not fun going to haunted house. Anyway, bye. We're getting out of here. See you next time. Now, before we get to my awesome conversation with moms, you know what else is awesome? Video games. Now, I love video games, but sometimes they get me a little angry, a little blood red mad, gonna be honest. And you can witness this all on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/iamTonyReavis.
Watch me tackle tough games like Mega Man, Crash Bandicoot, and so much more, all while trying to keep my blood pressure from going through the roof. I scream, you laugh, it's a good time. So check out my channel and subscribe today.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Good time to call.
Yeah, good. It's kind of been a running theme of this episode today, from my opening segment to my conversation with my roommate in the middle, is I went and saw the movie It last night. And wait, you're not a fan? You don't want to see it?
No, I'm not a fan.
Why are you not a fan?
I don't like those kind of movies.
Do you not like scary clowns?
Correct.
Okay, well, I don't like scary clowns. That's been a big phobia of mine for a long time.
Then why'd you go?
Well, it dates back to, I saw the original one, the Tim Curry one, when I was too young. So I don't know who was in charge of that, but maybe I saw it somewhere else, or you guys let me watch it. I don't know.
I don't think I'd let you watch it.
But I saw it and immediately was afraid of clowns, like a real true phobia.
I had a clown ride in on a unicycle when you were 4, maybe.
And exactly. That's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. That's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about today. I'm so scared of clowns, and it's more...
How could you have possibly watched it at that age?
Good question. That's what I want to know. And so...
Not with me.
And it was because, I don't know, but it was like the vision of him, like, even growing up, like, if I would go through my Facebook feed or something, and he would pop up, like a trailer or something would pop up, and I'd see it, it would, like, jolt me. With, like, fear. Yeah, with fear. If I see, like, any clown, you know? And then with the Saw movies, there's a little puppet that kind of looks like a clown, and then that gave me the same reaction. So I was like, you know what? I need to conquer this fear and go see this new movie. And I saw it, and it was, like, I got through it. I was hiding most of the time, but I watched it.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep very much last night, not because I was having bad dreams about it, but every dream was, like, still about it. Like, I was talking to people about it, or I was like...
Yeah, not good.
So it wasn't like I didn't have any scary dreams or whatever. But that's what I wanted to ask you. How did this whole clown at my birthday thing come up?
Because I thought it would be cool. And it was. He came riding down the road on a unicycle, and you know, the It clown, you look at it and it's freaking evil just to look at it. He didn't look like an evil clown. There's a difference.
Of course. But now, growing up, when I look, that was my 7th birthday, I think.
No, because you were way younger.
No, because I remember being...
Put you on his shoulders, you had been way too big by then.
Well, I was like 6 or 7, because I remember being...
No, you were not.
Yes.
Don't even say that.
No, listen, I'll tell you why. Because I remember being at school that day, and it was like a Friday, and then after school, we all went from school to the party. So I think I was 6. I think I was in kindergarten, and I just turned 6.
You were in kindergarten at age 5.
Yeah, and then in May, I turned 6. So it was like the end of kindergarten year.
Oh, no. Okay, whatever. Think what you want to think.
That's what happened. But
because, you know, I'm just your mom. I'm just the one that raised you. I wouldn't know these things as well as you would. So, okay, you were 6.
Okay, but you know, I grew up with a fear of, like, I have clown karma coming back to me because we didn't treat that clown very well. Do you remember that?
Okay. He was a good clown.
I know, but do you remember how we treated him?
I thought you treated him fine. What are you talking about? I
remember at the end, he was riding his unicycle. And he
that's right. and you guys, like, water ballooned him or something.
Well, no. He let us hold his arm, like, all the kids, we would grab his arms and, like, pull him around the yard on his unicycle. And we decided to throw him into the garage doors. And then we're like, that was funny. Let's throw him in the sticker bushes.
Okay, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
But I do remember, like, you guys were, like, shooting silly string at him or water.
That was when that birthday, I got 2 super soakers for my birthday.
There you go.
2 big water guns, and it wasn't us who did it.
That I remember.
It was Ricky and Timmy who thought it was funny to get them and soak him wet when he had to go and he had to go to another party after.
But the throwing him into things, I don't recall that at all. You guys were little kids.
I know. That's why I was like, we had it out for this clown. We threw him in the sticker bushes.
I just had a kick out of him because he would, like, the kids at the party, because we're out in the yard, and he would, like, pick him up and swing him, and then he'd flip him over up onto his shoulders, like that.
Yeah.
And I've got video of this somewhere. I'm going to have to find it. And my sister was standing next to me, and he decided he was going to do that with you. Well, you were thin, but you weighed a lot. You have like really heavy bone density or something. You were heavy. You didn't look heavy, but and so he goes over to you, and we're like, oh God, this is going to be good. And he did. He picked you up and he kind of swung you, and then he kind of flipped you like he's going to flip you up on his shoulder. And it's like, yeah! He barely made it. He did make it. But we knew it was going to be interesting because you didn't ever look as heavy as you were. You just it was weird how that was. You have just real heavy bone density or something.
I'm a thick boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been scared of clowns forever, and I was like, I'm going to see it.
You were scared of clowns then. I mean, I had no clue you were afraid of clowns.
Well, maybe I wasn't afraid of clowns then. Maybe it was after that, but...
I think that It movie was later. I mean, you were older.
I saw it really young, though.
I saw TV.
I know, it was a TV movie. I saw it really young, and I used to have a nightmare. There's the part when...
I saw it on TV then.
Well, yeah, because it was a TV movie. I had a nightmare where... Remember the one part where the guy's in prison or whatever, and Pennywise, like, visits him in prison, and then, like, he looks up at the moon and sees Pennywise's face in the moon? I had that nightmare where I'd look at the moon and I'd see Tim Curry's scary face.
Well, see, it was kind of a series of one,
Right, it's a miniseries. It was 2 parts. Yeah, it was 2 parts.
And I don't think I watched the whole thing, to be honest. I don't like clowns peering out from the gutter,
well, this one, man.
What's underneath the ground there, the
sewers, yeah, manhole.
No, thank you.
This one, the new one.
I bet it would get worse.
Well, yeah, because that was a TV movie, so they had to really hold back. This is a rated R theater movie, so they could get scary.
They actually went by the book, like, totally.
Well,
the book.
They go pretty close to the book. They take out all the child sex orgy stuff that Stephen King put in there like a weirdo.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's what
the guy that wrote the book is a strange man.
Yeah, Stephen King's weird. But yeah, no, that came out. The movie came out in 1990, so I wasn't even born yet. So I saw it like a rerun on TV whenever it came out. But and I don't know, they're very different. This one. The original movie, there's not a lot of like jump scares, like it's just like it's like that uneasy feeling when you drive down the guy's driving down the street and you just see him standing there on the side, like uneasy.
That like the little boy that got his bicycle and he just go and all of a sudden he looks over in the woods and he's standing there glaring at him. I'm like, no, thank you.
And this one's more like the guy turns around and it's like boom, there he is in your face, and it's kind of
that's what this is like.
Yeah, it's a lot of jump scares.
Oh,
and he looks insane. Like I'm not scared of Tim Curry's anymore because this guy looks so scary.
Well, what about when you watched Batman and the Joker? I thought he was kind of scary.
I guess I was never scared of the Joker, but there's one video game of Batman where the Joker's in it and Mark Hamill does the voice because he's done the voice of the Joker on the cartoon for a while. The guy who plays Luke Skywalker, and he's fantastic. Like I think that's what I remember. That's what's more Mark Hamill to me now because I didn't grow up when Star Wars came out, the originals, So my childhood is like watching the Batman cartoon and having Mark Hamill do Joker's voice, and they do some scary stuff in that game with the Joker. But No, it was never. He was never scary to me because it was like.
Well, I thought he was creepy looking.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I grew up on like the Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
Joker, and he wasn't that scary looking.
I grew up on the Romero.
Caesar Romero, yeah.
version.
Yeah, and he was funny.
He was not scary.
No, yeah. But yeah, I saw it. I conquered it. I mean, kind of. Like I still haven't stopped thinking about it.
Well, so when you left the movie, you were like, "Oh, I'm not afraid of clowns anymore."
No,
I mean,
God, no, no. I'm still scared, but I'm like, I'm starting to battle it, and this is just the part 1 of part 2. They're gonna make the second one later, because it's like in the TV series one, they're kids first, and then they're adults later in the second movie. So this is just chapter 1.
I don't like Stephen King. That's his name, right?
Yeah, Stephen King.
I don't like his.
I remember when.
That's just not my.
I remember we were young and we got that first big screen TV we ever had. The like rear projection big screen TV, that big Bertha. We were like, they were moving it in and everything and getting it set up, and we were like excited for them to get it in that night because there was a new Stephen King miniseries on TV, the Storm one, where like the kid went missing or something. That one was weird. Yeah.
All his books are weird.
Yeah.
They're all weird. They do nothing for me. If you like to be scared, I like detective whodunit stuff.
There's a new Agatha Christie book that's a movie coming out that I really want to see. Murder on the Orient Express, and it looks really cool.
Oh yeah, gosh, that's been done before.
And but they're doing a new version, and Kenneth Branagh's directing it, and he's in it, and like the cast is great. It looks awesome. But the cast in this movie it was great. The little kids were great. One of the kids from Stranger Things, which I know you liked.
Oh yeah,
is in it.
I did like that.
Yeah, and he's fantastic. It's funny though, because like it isn't a clown like in the mythos of the book. It is not a clown. It like turns into your greatest fear, right?
Right.
So like for me, it would just be he would not change. He'd just be a clown because he's scary, and that's the case for one of the kids.
Yeah, my mother-in-law. No, I'm only kidding. Kidding. It's a joke.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. All right, I just wanted to call you and get to the bottom of this clown stuff because I've been thinking about clowns.
Yeah, I'm real sorry about that, but I thought that was a big score.
I'm sure.
Loved him.
I'm sure I had fun at the day.
And he did tricks and he did balloon. I mean, he did all the clown things.
Yeah.
And the fact that he rode in on our long, bumpy driveway on a unicycle was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
In fact, I need to find that video.
I remember he was Dino the Clown.
Yep, and then we will see who's right.
We'll go to and I'm sure how old I was. Yeah, I'm sure I had a lot of fun. But nowadays, I'm worried that like I scarred him in the sticker bushes and he's going to come get me.
I would not want to hire a clown. Thank you.
Right. And there's some parts that were really funny in it. Like there's like some jump scares. It's like boom, jump scares, and then he like slides slowly out of camera with like a silly face, and it kind of was funny.
No thanks. Well, do they defeat him in the end? Because that's really all that's important to me.
Well, spoiler alert, but no, yeah, they do because it's it's a book and it's an old movie. People already know that's why it's 2 parts. He kind of gets away at the end, and then because he comes out every 27 years. That's the story.
Oh.
So then they're adults in the next part.
Right.
But it's like because they're not afraid of him at the end, he's powerless against them.
Right. Oh, good. Yeah.
And when they're together, they're not afraid. So he can't defeat them because they're not afraid. And but the story is so weird. Like in the book, because he's not a clown. It's this thing called the Deadlights from this other dimension that like feeds on children's fears. Mm-hmm. And his villain, like the thing that they have to use to defeat it, is a giant mythical turtle from another dimension.
Okay.
So they go. So do you remember in the old one they like go and there's this giant spider or whatever in the old one? It's
I hate them worse I hate spiders worse than clowns.
Yeah, they changed it. They changed it to a spider for some reason instead of a turtle. But they have to. So in the next one they have to go get this turtle to help them or something. I don't know. It's crazy. It's really interesting. But yeah, they took out a lot of that weird stuff.
See the movie, and I won't even see it when it comes on. Yeah.
DVD. It was a packed house though, which was cool. It's done very well, and it was a good movie. Like minus this, if I wasn't so afraid, just like it was really good.
Like I said, I don't like how he writes. I don't like it. Everything he writes is creepy.
Yeah.
Which tells me he's a creepy person. He's creepy for that stuff to come out of his mind.
Be careful. He could be listening right now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, no, I'm not sorry. You're creepy.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay, kid.
I love you. Even
sorry about the clown thing.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hey.
It's okay. As long as Dino the Clown forgives me for throwing him in the sticker bushes and he's not coming after me.
I hope so. I don't remember that. I just remember him getting shot with a bunch of water and had to stop you guys.
That was, Ricky and Timmy right at the end.
Oh.
I remember you yelling at them because he had to go to another party. Yeah. And he messed up his makeup and stuff.
Like you act like a bunch of hoodlums, for God's sake.
Alrighty.
Now you know why the cops came to my house all the time.
All right.
Okay, kid. Well, have a great rest of the evening.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. That's going to do it here for us on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast, episode 4 in the books. Man, that was a lot of clown talk this episode. I do not want to talk about clowns ever again. All right. Got that all out of the way. Had an awesome conversation with my roommate, Karina. It was cool to just kind of sit and talk about whatever, not have a plan, and just kind of have some fun. We talked about dreams, talked about nightmares. We talked about the movie. We got a little deep, had a little fun. I'm really excited to do that with my roommate. Every now and again, she'll be back on and we'll just kind of, shoot the breeze and see what's going on there. So thanks, Karina, for coming on. Love you. Shout out to my mom. Finally got to the bottom of why she brought a clown to my birthday. She didn't know I was afraid, I guess. But always a pleasure to talk to my mom. I love her so much. She's crazy. Make sure, again, you're sending me stuff that we can talk about with moms. I can ask her questions and have some fun there. But thank you guys for staying tuned with us. Make sure you head to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/iamTonyReavis, to check out the podcast, check out my gaming videos. I got old music video on there, all that kind of good stuff. Good stuff coming in the future for that. I got Crash Bandicoot videos. I beat Mega Man on there. I play an MLB on PlayStation. That's fun. Trying to make it to the pros. I got some good stuff coming from the gaming aspect of it in the future. I got a horror game coming up in October. That's going to be a lot of fun for Halloween. I'm looking forward to doing that. Just check it out. Make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned with everything we got going on there. You can find this podcast on iTunes. So make sure you're listening to it on iTunes. Rate and review us 5 stars. Leave an awesome review for us. That really helps us out here at the podcast. And getting back to an interview next week. It's going to be an awesome interview, I promise you. Unfortunately, it will not be with Dwayne. You might know him as The Rock. He had to cancel on me again. Man, he's a busy dude, so I really respect his work ethic. But he promised that one day he will be on. So stay tuned, folks. Have no fear. He'll be here one of these days. But until then, keep it locked on the YouTube channel and keep it locked to the podcast next week. Gonna be some good stuff. And if you don't know, now you know. I am Tony Reavis and I'm out.